Hey, good morning. In this video, I'm going to be interviewing a side hustler who makes money scrapping metal. He's going to share us how he got started, what kind of equipment he uses, and how much money he makes on average. He's also a part-time fireman and has a full-time job and juggles a family. So make sure you stick around to the end, hit that subscribe button, and keep checking us out for more videos on how to make a side hustle as a fireman. All right, man. Cool. All right. So really quick, we never met. First off, I'm Jared. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. I'm Brian.
Brian, where are you from, Brian?
Connecticut.
Connecticut. Okay. So I'm actually down in Louisiana, New Orleans. So it's 80 degrees today. So
wow. I'm jealous. It's about, we're supposed to get down to 31 tonight.
31. Yeah, no, it doesn't get 31. It's been like 3 or 4 years since we've hit the 30s down here, something like that. For sure. So well, just really quick, I wanted to do an interview with you because I run Fireman Side Hustles, which is basically it's just a website to help, first responders, firemen, things like that, kind of find their groove and how to make some extra money on the side, whatever it is.
Yeah.
And so, and I'm in a couple different industries myself. And I think, you are, correct me if I'm wrong, you're a fireman. Are you a part-time fireman paid or volunteer fireman in Connecticut?
Volunteer.
Okay, volunteer. So you run a full-time job and then volunteer. Okay. Can you tell me just a little bit like how does that work as a volunteer firefighter? What does that look like on a day-to-day basis?
I mean, it's whenever there's a call comes in wherever I'm at, if it's a call I'm assigned to or in my district or whatever, I respond from the store, home, whatever.
Okay. How's that work with a normal job? What do you do for a living normally that you
I deliver fuel oil, home heating oil.
Okay. So basically you deliver oil for furnaces and things like that. Like what? Okay. Is that a business that you run on your own, or is that a business that?
No, that's a business I work for. It's a small local business.
Okay. And how are they with like the fire? Does that ever kind of come into play where there's an issue with you having to report to, an EMS call or something like that?
Not really. I've kind of somewhat told them, like, if there's something really big in town, I mean, if I'm available, I'm gonna excuse myself and go to that, obviously.
Okay.
I can't really show up with the fuel truck.
Right.
Yeah,
that could escalate the situation.
Yes,
a little bit, right? A big 3-alarm fire, and you show up with a fuel truck full of fuel.
Yeah, 2,800 gallons of fuel oil.
Yeah,
that's not gonna.
So how what are the majority of your phone calls that you do go into?
So like pretty much everywhere else, the majority of our calls now are EMS based. But for the fire side, a lot of it's car accidents, then the usual chasing smells and bells. I think the last working fire we had was sometime last year.
Okay.
So
now I'm sure people are going to ask, since you're volunteer, you're probably in a smaller city in Connecticut. Like, what's the population in Connecticut?
In my
that you're in, your area, your town.
Let's see. I want to say it's let me look it up now. It's about a little under 20,000.
Okay.
As of 2020.
Okay.
So where I'm at, we are on the shoreline. So Long Island Sound area. Roughly 2 hours to Boston and 2 hours to New York.
Okay.
So
that's not bad. Yeah, you're a nice little area. I was in Boston earlier this year for St. Patrick's Day. So that was pretty interesting. It was a pretty interesting weekend. But
it always is.
What No, I believe, I think I asked you before. So you run the fuel. Now, as a
Mhm.
volunteer fire department, it's volunteer, right? Do you collect any kind of check or any kind of pension or anything like that?
S-
Or
So there's a relatively new program that's been talked about for years, but it's finally implemented where you get, I guess it'd be called paid per call, but
Mhm.
it's a tallied. So, for example, say I go on a call right now, I I believe it would be like $7 or something for a call, but it's not like as soon as I get to the firehouse they hand me a check for $7. It's a cumulative, like quarterly, I believe it is.
Okay.
Um, that I think that was started last year, but
Okay.
prior to that, it was basically, you're provided with the equipment and
You just go.
you're not paid yet.
Okay.
So,
And so
but
they don't have a
and
paid option where you're at, other than like, I guess in your
oh,
residence. Is there a paid option where they have full-time firefighters?
so our department is a combination. It's mostly volunteer, but there are a few career guys and then there's a few part-timers. So recently though, the state kind of did something funky with the law where you can't be both paid and volunteer in the same house. So they basically, the part-timer have to either choose to be a part-timer or a volunteer. It's some funky labor law from like the
Okay.
30s.
Hmm.
Yeah.
No,
But okay.
no, it's fine. I don't definitely want you to finish. So is that something that you'd want to do full time if given the opportunity? Is it something that you like have a lot of passion for? Or is it just something that you're like, hey, I'm going to do my civic duty and
Um,
be a firefighter?
I mean, I'm a second generation volunteer, so it's, I guess you could say it's in my blood. Um, would I do it full time? I don't know. Maybe you know, given specifics, I might, but I mean, I'm happy being a volunteer. Enjoy it,
Okay,
you
so
know.
tell me a little bit like just about you yourself as as Brian. Are you married? Do you have children?
Yep.
What's the family life look like?
I'm married with a stepdaughter who just turned 13.
Okay.
So, um,
I have one of those in my house.
oh yeah.
Yeah. Best thing to do is get yourself like a tranquilizer gun and around on Friday night, you just hit them when they're not looking.
Oh
And then
yeah.
put them to bed for the weekend, you know?
Yeah, I may start sharpening knives or something when boys come calling,
Yeah.
start mumbling to myself that
Yeah.
kind of scare 'em away.
Yeah. It's a good idea. So does the volunteer, being with the fire department, you know, you don't get called out too much, but obviously, is it ever like a strain on the family life or like any kind of super inconvenience for the family or anything like that?
No, because she understands that, you know, it's what needs to be done is what needs to be done.
Okay. Are
Um,
you are you a two family household as far, I mean, two income household as far as does your
yeah,
wife work and
yep,
you work? Okay, cool. Now, like with I believe it was you, I talked to a couple different people. Um, I think you were talking about doing some sort of side hustle like with was it junk removal or snow
yep.
removal or something like that? Okay.
Scrap metal, yep.
Scrap metal. So yeah, you do scrap metal. So you do scrap metal on the side. So
Mhm.
um tell me a little bit about that. Like what type of equipment do you have? What does that look like, especially in Connecticut with the winter and I don't know how much snow you get. But obviously that has to slow down a little bit. Um, what what do you expect like on any given year, to bring in extra money as far as scrap metal goes?
Um, so I currently have a 3/4 ton pickup and a small dump trailer that I use. Started off with just a regular half ton pickup, you know, piled it high over the cab, stuff like that. Um, as far as like the weather, the winter just kind of makes it inconvenient because stuff gets buried and stuff gets frozen. But other than
And
that, it doesn't really slow me down. I mean, that's my time for work, so
okay.
that kind of slows it down. But
What
and
about go ahead, finish your thought.
a-
Sorry.
as far as the income, I mean, I think I do a few thousand a year. It's not something I'm getting rich off of, not breaking the bank, but it's nice to when you make a trip and you get that cash in your hand and you can say, oh well, this is going to pay for my gas, this is going to pay for the electric bill, yada yada, save for college, whatever. So
Now, have you ever thought about now how do you go about getting your customers now, like your clientele? How do you get a scrap metal job? And do you just do scrap metal, or do you do junk pickup, like, hey, I'll go pick up your sofa for you and dispose of it, and
yeah,
and things like that? Because obviously there
ba-
is a difference between the two, right?
yeah, basically anything that will fit in or on my trailer, I'll haul. Um, there was one time I hauled wedding dresses.
Really? I mean, tell me, how did that come about? How did wedding dresses get on
So
the list?
we have a relative who, for the longest time, has owned a wedding shop, whatever you want to call it. Um, she had retired, and she, I guess, I forget the full agreement, but basically lent her inventory to somebody to sell, and the agreement was you sell it, and but I get the profits or whatever. Anyway, the lady kind of went back on the deal, and so my relative decided to repossess her property. So I showed up one day and carrying out wedding dresses in my arms out of this store and put them in the back of my truck. And there were a few times where I would just look at the back of my truck and look at my hands and be like, this is what am I doing? Like
Right.
I never thought of all the things I move would be wedding dresses.
Yeah. Yeah. I think
But
I think that happens to a lot of people. I'm trying to think of the craziest things that I've had to move. I mean, obviously you run across some old stuff and toys and things like that, but I don't think I've ever did anything like wedding dresses.
yeah,
Because yeah, that's
that
pretty
was
interesting.
yeah, that was the first for me. And I was like, this is gonna be a hell of a story.
So, how do you go now? So you're in Connecticut. You live in a town about 20,000. I mean, you're 2 hours from Boston. You're 2 hours from New York. What's the biggest city that I would say is within driving distance for you, as far as the
Uh
largest city?
City of New London,
New London.
which is
Okay.
right excuse me, right next to me. Um so they've got a population of 27,000.
Okay. So like within that area, maybe you know, within your driving area, you're looking at what, 40, 50,000 people. Um,
Yeah.
is that the kind of area that you cover with your scrap removal business?
Yep.
Okay, cool.
Um so I will pretty much go anywhere in that particular county, and the county has a population of a little over 250,000 people.
Oh, okay.
And it doesn't I don't know off the top of my head the actual size of the county, but it's, I don't know, probably 20 miles wide by 10, 15 miles high.
Yeah, well, that's not that big, right? 20 miles in one
Yeah.
direction. I mean, so within your hometown, you have about 250,000 people. So how do you go? I know I asked a question earlier. I don't think we got to it yet, but um, how do you go about getting your clients? Like, what do you do to land clients? Are you running Facebook ads or Craigslist or word of mouth?
I
You
mean,
know,
honestly, all of it is word of mouth. I haven't
okay.
spent a dime on advertising or anything. Um,
And
I have somebody I've been picking up from a lawnmower shop for well over a decade now, and just somebody to say, hey, I need something taken care of, or something hauled away, and somebody say, oh yeah, call Brian, send him a message, whatever.
Mhm. All right.
So
So no Facebook page. You don't have like anything for your hauling business whatsoever.
nope,
Okay,
I've
cool.
I've considered doing it. Um, like I said, word of mouth is just what gets around.
Yeah. Are you in any of like there's a ton of junk removal groups on Facebook. Um, are you in any of those or scrap metal groups or things like that?
Yep, I'm in a couple scrap metal groups.
Okay. Okay.
And it's always nice to be a part of that, because there may be stuff I don't know that I'm looking for advice from somebody, or likewise, if somebody's new starting out, needs advice.
Mhm.
It's nice to help
Yeah.
and
ab-
trade tips and all that.
Absolutely. Now, like junk removal over the last, let's just say I own a junk removal company, and I guess going on over 2 years now. Um, I have, guys that run it for me. I don't go out anymore. Um, but I mean, we live in like the New Orleans metro area, so we probably have, 400,000 or whatever, right? So we do stay pretty busy. But we just use like the normal website kind of
Right.
Google my business type of stuff. So the company you work for, as far as hauling oil, and I know a lot of guys like, do the same thing. Like, hey, I could pick up early in the morning, I could pick up late in the evening because, I'm working with now, especially since the time change, it's dark outside where,
Yeah, no kidding.
yeah, 3 days ago, we still have an hour of daylight, it seems. But
Yeah.
so that makes it a little bit more difficult, obviously. But have you ever thought about, doing something like taking that side hustle, making it full time, or how long have you been with the oil company? What would need to happen? Because obviously there is, owning your own business and kind of being able to set your schedule kind of gives you a little bit more freedom, but a little bit more responsibility, right? So,
Yeah. I mean, I would love for it to be full time. Um, I just think currently, like with the way the market is, the metal price market, and the amount of stuff I'm getting right now wouldn't be enough to match what I make at work.
mhm.
But
Yeah.
I would love that freedom of just being able to, go out, run around and pick up stuff.
Well, yeah, the price of metal has gone down quite a bit over the last year.
Yeah.
Like what, half, 100%, something like that. I mean, it's gone
It's
down a lot. I know that.
yeah, it's gone down. I'd probably say at least 40%.
Yeah, yeah. So, but
Um,
you used to get,
especially the precious metals, like the copper.
yeah, you used to get
Brass.
$2, and now you're getting $1. So like you're basically getting half of what you used to get.
Yeah.
Which, and then the fuel prices have gone up. So when you add the fuel prices going up and then the price of metal going down, that obviously makes your profit go way down.
Yeah.
But there is still like, like you said, if you were picking things up, as far as like junk removal, things like that, there's always there's always more and more people jumping into that industry. I feel like the junk removal industry is such a low barrier. You need a truck, right? Or an SUV with a trailer,
Yeah.
or a beat up car. And the next thing you could know, you could be hauling junk, right? Back and forth from, people's homes. But there's always people that need stuff, to get rid of, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
So the idea is it's definitely a lucrative thing depending on like your market, and if somebody's in a town of 2 or 3,000, it's going to be hard for them to run a full-time junk removal company, because obviously you need to have
Right.
enough population to offset the amount of stuff you're able to pick up.
Yeah.
But with the ability to sit there and say like, hey, my minimum's $100. If I go pick up a couch, it's $100. If I pick up a full trailer, it's $300, $400. Like the amount of, per hour can legitimately, go up pretty quickly if you can kind of book your calendar out. Do you have a lot of junk removal companies in your vicinity or in your area?
There's a couple bigger ones like the 1-800 junk or whatever. But mostly it's just guys with trucks, hey, I got a buddy that can do this, yada yada.
Mhm.
I guess you'd say like handyman kind of style.
Okay. Well, look, let me show. I'm gonna share my screen with you really quick. I want to show you something here, so it might give you some help. Let me see if I can do that. Hold on. Share screen. All right. So what I'm gonna do is we'll go here. We'll do screen one. All right. Let's see. What do you see right now? Is it Google?
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. I'm gonna make sure you see Google. Okay. So what's the name? What's the name of your city, Brian?
Waterford.
Waterford.
Yep. Waterford.
Okay, cool. Waterford, and then we'll put Connecticut since I'm all the way down here, so Google doesn't get confused. And then we're gonna just type in like junk removal. Okay. And then I'll show you like so these are Junk Luggers is a national company, right?
I've never heard of that before.
This is gonna be an ad, right? But then if we come down here, we could see Waterford. So it looks like you're right here by the river, and there's New London where you were talking,
Yeah,
right?
and I'm to the left of New London.
Okay, so you're right over here. So if you look, you can see right here, you have JR Junk Removal, you have O'Grady's Junk Removal, and then you have a dumpster rental company here, 16 reviews, 97 reviews. If you want to take a look at their website like this, JR Junk Removal. And look, they're running a utility trailer with sides, no dump trailer, right? So now I don't know if you know, but like this right here, this is called Google Maps. It's called Google Business Profile.
Yeah.
This is a free service right here. So, let's just say, you wanted to create one of these. You can go in and create one of these for free. Depending on where you live in this area, right?
Yep.
But you can go in here and let's just say you named your company just for Brian's Junk Removal or whatever. And you could literally create one of these without even having a website, right? Websites can cost you anywhere between $500 to $3,000 for a professional looking website or whatever. But you could come in here and create this, and about 80% of people that are looking for like a service like yours are going to call one of these companies right here, because this is how it shows up in maps.
Right.
So they're going to call one of the top three. But what I want you to notice is that like I typed in junk removal and then dumpster rental even showed up, right?
Yeah.
So you probably don't have a ton of competition in your area. You could see right here all these dots, but with a little bit of work or just a little bit of even taking a little bit of time and kind of studying how it works, or even watching some of the videos that we have on, that we're going to be putting out. I'm going to be trying to put out more and more content within the Side Hustle group, because this really refers to any kind of service business.
Right.
That you could set up one of these within a matter of a week or two, right? Set one of these bad boys up, slap your number on there, and just be up here. And you never know, depending on how it works out, to be in this top three, right? That automatically will increase the amount of phone calls you get. So word of mouth is great. It's the best type of referral, because a word of mouth referral is going to be able to, they're going to jump on and they're going to say, Brian, how much is it? Come get it. Right.
Yeah.
These guys are going to be, what time is it? Okay. It's only, okay. Yeah, we're good. But these guys, but you're going to be able to get your service calls from 80% of you people are going to call and then, call around and ask. And especially, depending on how good you are in answering the phone, I'm not sure how busy you are. You're probably driving a lot during the day from fuel stop to fuel stop.
Yep.
So you probably do have the ability to answer your phone. So a lot of times the person who answers their phone gets the job. And so in order for you to create one of these, all you really need to do is, you can come here and go Google My Business or Google Maps, right? And you would just come over here to Google Business, sign in with a Gmail account. I would start, either use your old if you have a Gmail account right now, right?
Mhm.
You would go in here and see this one has a business attached, but you'd be able to go in here and set up a Google business profile, add a business to Google. And then you would name it, let's just say you named it, like I said, Brian's Junk Removal, whatever. And start that process. You put your mailing address in, you fill out a couple questions, they mail you a postcard, the postcard comes in the mail, you put the postcard code verification in, and there you go, you're done. And then Google will actually give you a free website as well, that you don't even have to pay for. It'll just give you a free website that you can use while you're trying to work on getting things done. And being that you have a full-time job, it's really kind of the best of both worlds. Like if you're looking for that active side hustle, I used to be a contractor for 15 years. I should have been in junk removal for the last 15 years because I started junk removal same way as you. Like, oh, I'm going to do a job a week, make an extra $150, $200 a week sometimes. But then because I did stuff like this, that turned into, now I have two guys working full time
Yeah.
that run a truck, and then I kind of do the other stuff, the digital stuff and the fireman stuff and all of that on the side. So it's definitely a way for you to be able to bring in extra income. Obviously, it's going to slow down a little bit in the wintertime because, like you said, the snow and things, but it's a perfect opportunity now because you're probably busier delivering fuel, right? To be able to set one of these things up kind of in the winter. And so when that springtime comes and people are doing that cleaning, you could set one of those up, like I said, in an afternoon and just, it's all about taking pictures and asking your old clients for reviews and things like that. And there's some more technical side stuff to it, but it's really simple to kind of get that business up and running without having to pay for any marketing or any ads or anything like that. We generate anywhere between, during the busy season, 200 to 300 phone calls a month, just through our website and just through our map listing. So, those are all don't turn into jobs, but it's not, it's pretty easy to bring in a 6-figure side income with junk removal. I love it. I love the whole idea of it. You become glorified garbage man. It's like I like to say. I mean, I know some people in the industry don't like that term, but I mean, we pick up people's trash and we get paid for it, but we get paid really well, So I don't think there's anything wrong with that, right? So it's definitely something that since you've kind of already got the truck and you've already got the trailer, it's just a matter of kind of getting, those couple little extra things that, you can do that could maybe even offset some of that income or be able to replace that current income. And being that your wife works too, things like that, there's obviously like the insurance issues and with children and things like that, because my wife carries me on her insurance, so I don't have to worry about that side. So it's not the same for everybody.
Yeah, my wife's a teacher, so she's got damn good insurance.
Yeah, and so she can carry you on her insurance, but a lot of that can be, and it's high profit margin, anywhere between, I'd say 30 to 40%. So if you go do a job for 100, 300, 400, 500, you get to keep 200 to 300 of that as your profit, right? And then as you expand, it changes a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of crazy when I'll turn in some stuff and I'll look at the receipt and I'll go, that was $170. They just paid me $170 for a bunch of rusty stuff. I've been doing metal for probably about 15 years or so. And it's it's just pretty crazy what people throw out,
Hmm.
and
No,
some some stuff I gotta save, maybe I can resell it, whatever.
mhm.
But just, I mean, I've gotten push mowers for free. For a couple of years, I was mowing my yard with a free mower, and all the gas I was using was gas I drained out of mowers that I was going to scrap because they don't like it,
Yeah.
full of gas when it gets turned in.
Yeah.
So,
We it is crazy. I just sold today a commercial mixer, like ones in bakeries and pizza shops on eBay for $5,500 that we were paid to pick up. And
yeah,
and the crazy thing is that I took the best offer at 5,500, and like a day later somebody offered me 6,500. So I lost out on $1,000. I'm not mad, but at the same time, right? Um, we were paid to pick it up, right?
yeah, yeah.
So it's
Oh, hold on one
that's
second.
interesting. No problem.
Yeah, I will. Fucking Christ, are you deaf? No, I will pick her up. Sorry.
That's no problem. But so yeah, so there's a ton of obviously ways for you to make money online. And so if I were you, I would just go start that GMB, because you never know until you start it, right? And it's one thing when you get that first call and it's like, oh man, this is a call that I never would have gotten unless I was on the internet. It's kind of that new the new yellow pages, right? It's not the same old yellow pages that we used to get when we were kids. It's something totally new. So I don't want to keep you a whole lot of time. One last question I did want to ask you. So like, what's the biggest challenge as being a fireman, running the side job, running the full-time job? Like, what's the biggest challenge that you have, and how do you kind of handle that?
Try to find the time to do it all.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously, keep the family life. So what I'll do is, like, when I do, say I do a pickup, like I did today, I did a pickup on my way home and got a lot of stuff off the truck into my trailers. So I'm not riding around like overflowing, and just find time like on a Saturday or Sunday afternoon or whatever to just process some of the stuff to get the better metal out of it. And also not, interfering with whatever we've got going on, like a cheerleading event or a birthday party or whatever.
Right.
I mean, that's about it.
I got you. And so time management is your biggest thing as far as figuring that out. I agree. I mean, I used to work, like I said, construction, 10-hour days or whatever. And now I'm home most of the time and I still don't have time to do anything, it seems like. And I'm home most of the time. So I think that everybody deals with that just in their same way, because something's going to take up your time, right? Something's going to take up.
Yeah.
So I think the most important thing is utilizing your time.
Exactly. Yeah.
The most smart way to be able to fit in family time, fit in the side jobs, fit in being a volunteer fireman and all the other things, right? So even as a volunteer fireman, that's even tougher, because I know professional firemen that I work with sometimes, and they work 24 and they're off 48. So they go work those 48 hours and they're done. So I know you got to go jump and get off your go pick your daughter up, but I appreciate it. And if you need anything, you have any questions, feel free to hit me up. If you wanted to set up that Google business, or if I have a couple of YouTube videos somewhere I could send you kind of to help you walk through it. But definitely do that, and keep following the channel, and we're going to be putting out some good content. And yeah, I appreciate you jumping on, and I'll let you know when I'm going to go ahead and kind of edit this together, and I'll put it on the website somewhere and get you featured. And if you get your Google business up and your stuff up, we'll we'll show it some love and put a link to it for you and
All right,
everything.
thank you for having me. And
All right, man.
if anybody who's watching this needs any advice about getting started with metal or whatever,
Yeah.
look me up on the
I'll add your Facebook link down at the bottom of the video. So if you're looking to get into scrap or just the scrap metal industry in general, you can hit Brian up, ask him any questions. He'd be glad to help. All right. All right, man. Thank you so much. You have a great day.
You too. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Hey, I hope you enjoyed that interview, and make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit that like button for more content coming up for firefighters and how to make that side hustle and how to make that extra money to make your ends meet. Peace.